When someone says elves, you think of talented archers, butterfly-like grace, and most importantly, holy Jesus, what is that? So on a lot of my past Warhammer videos, I've gotten a bunch of comments specifically about this little man. In front of us right now is Orion, who has a bunch of faction-wide effects that are pretty unique and interesting, like upkeep cost minus 8% for each active war. And when you're at war with enough people, you can imagine how that ends up. So loading into Orion's campaign, we start in one of the, what I consider to be worst locations.
Let them face the rage of the
Thanks for interrupting me, dick. Basically, the Wood Elves have a very unique playstyle, even as compared to pretty much all the other factions. All the ways around the map are a lot of different trees and forests, which we have to grow and protect and, you know, do all kinds of weird tree hugger things to. And all of that culminates in the Oak of Ages and basically trying to make our super avatar tree into its Giga version. The bonuses for it are pretty insane, stuff like ward save plus 10%, 160 growth in all provinces, so on and so forth, which is kind of nuts, but at the same time, the Wood Elves are also very bad in a variety of other ways that we'll show. First things first, we're just gonna insult him successfully and somehow kill like 80 people in the process. And then go forward with our very first battle of the game against,
Do you take me for a churl?
So this is how big Orion is, and this is how big a normal elf is. King of the Wood Elves, more like King of Brazzers. Something Orion also does pretty well is that because he's so big, he, oh my god, he can whoop it. As part of his ranged kit, instead of firing a bow like every other Wood Elf, he just throws his giant spear at... I mean, it works. He's also got a couple of pretty mediocre abilities that do damage. One of them just drops a bunch of arrows from the sky, which, I mean, that's not too bad. And then the other just summons a bunch of wolves. The AI has finally gotten pissed enough at us, and they're actually gonna try to fight, which is good. Most Wood Elves are pretty bad in melee, but Orion is, as you can see, pretty scary. I mean, he's like a 20-foot tall tree with magical spears too, Jesus Christ. Our cavalry also consists of just people riding deer, so we are very advanced, as you can see. Yeah, so the unupgraded version of Orion single-handedly got 167 kills, which I think is almost more than everything combined save this one unit of Wild Riders. So right now within Orion's tech tree, we're just gonna go with campaign movement range and probably a bunch of the other blue campaign skills, but a lot of his other skills are insanely good, like plus 12 melee attack and melee defense. Not to mention that some of his special talents are also really, really strong as well. So eventually Orion's just gonna become a tank. And moving into our first settlement battle, we're just gonna actually fight this, although I'm pretty sure Orion can take out most of these peasant mobs on his own. Yeah, I'm relatively confident about my assertion of holy crap. Orion, you can chill for a little. I'm pretty sure these guys have family. Orion also is terrifying, so he's just scaring all of the peasants away. Look at this guy, he's just batting them to the side by walking. To pretty much no one's surprise, we're gonna win this battle pretty easily. I mean, I didn't know deer were very good as cavalry. All right, with our first settlement battle done, now we get to see a bunch of interesting choices for the Wood Elves specifically. So we can either clear the land, which is basically equivalent to raising it, which will make our forests more healthy. On the other side, we can also just occupy it, which will just give even more benefits to it over time. So by occupying instead of raising, what you'll notice is that our settlements kind of suck. Basically, Wood Elves only get these really crappy 2-slot settlements whenever they're not inside the forests. And we also only get a couple buildings to choose from. We can either exploit the resource or build one of 4 buildings, and we're just gonna get this one, which lowers construction costs. So heading back to our weird hippie forest, you can see that now our forests have gained a couple of HP, and the more HP they get, the healthier they are. The healthier the forests are, as you can see, we get a bunch of different bonuses, which are cool, but not entirely important to what we're trying to do here. If you remember from the campaign intro screen, where it said that Orion got minus upkeep for each war we were actually participating in, then you'll realize how insane that is if we're able to get enough wars to have our upkeep be essentially 0. The problem is that we can't just immediately declare war on everyone because we don't have enough money to even recruit the units right now. So for the time being, we really just need to focus on upgrading the Oak of Ages and improving improving our King's Glade, our one settlement pretty much, in order to get some of the higher level units, which we are eventually going to make completely free. Heading over to our tech tree, what we see is that we have a whole bunch of these symbols of what's called amber. Amber is something that we can get by healing all of these giant forests that we can see everywhere all across the place. And while that might seem far away, we do have an ability to instantly teleport to any of these forests. So our major goal right now is to protect all of these forests, make sure they don't get razed, make sure they're all relatively safe. To actually protect the forest, what we need to make sure is that we occupy or raze all of these settlements that are adjacent to each forest. So here you can see that because we're at war with these guys and they're adjacent to our giant avatar tree, it's giving us -1 forest health every turn. So after ending our first turn and going on to our second, what actually spawns is a Bray herd, which will start to gather here and eventually get big enough to take out one of our cities. So what we could do is move into ambush the beastmen right now, but because Orion's army is pretty small and the garrisons of both King's Glade and the Oak of Ages are actually pretty decent, we're just gonna wait here instead. Passing the turn a couple of times, now we get to greet our good old buddy, Goros the Land Ripper, who looks like an upstanding gentleman. Now, unfortunately, the beastmen are right here, and we can probably kill them now, but at the same time, we're also gonna lose our settlement to Bretonia, which is fine, because the beginning of this campaign is pretty slow. But anyways, I'm just gonna auto-resolve against this guy, and then we can try and take back Quesnel when we get the chance, but otherwise, we're just gonna be sitting in our main one city for the majority of the next couple of turns. Grom the Paunch is threatening us for a bunch of money for a gift. You know what? I have nothing to really lose, so no. Another war also means another -8% upkeep for all of our units in Orion's army, and it also means that we're gonna handily lose to this... Oh, thank God. We got an event for a migration, which is minus a bit of public order, but we can actually get some growth. Welcome aboard, people. I don't know why they're migrating into the giant terrifying forests of Athel Loren and probably getting killed in the process, but hey, who cares? Alright, so another turn, another beastman ambush, which is kind of unfortunate, especially because we have to trespass into other people's lands to get there, which is probably why I'm just gonna ignore it. And we also just got a mission for winning 3 battles against, I believe the Greenskins, which gives us an opportunity to confederate with one of these factions right over here. The only problem we have is that for the most part, the Greenskins are all dead because Durthu killed them. For the other faction over here, if we kill a bunch of Bretonians, then we could confederate with Val's Anvil and their settlement. So we're probably just gonna go kill the French. I'm also gonna have to intrude on these guys' land, not because I want to, but because we have to kill this Beastman army. Our options are either telling the Greenskins to just go away or completely annihilating them. And as the happy-go-lucky dude Orion is, we're just gonna kill him. So with our new and improved army, which is almost entirely archers and spearmen against their army of... We're just gonna deploy all of our units on the hill and then probably kill them before they can even get up. Because let's face it, as much as Wood Elves look not very strong, their archers are surprisingly not trash. Alright, and starting the battle, it should not be long until... Oh yeah, we do pretty crazy damage with our bows. They're also charging uphill with large units into our spearmen, and that's... Yeah, that's not gonna go very well for them. Wait, I think their leader is trying to leave the battlefield. He's the only one in their army who's just gonna leave. Goodbye, buddy. I don't think I even need to kill you. You're just gonna... Yep, nope, he's out. They killed 80 units and we killed 1,600. I actually didn't realize this, but it looks like by retreating, his army did survive, and we do have to go chase him through the forest, which is kind of annoying because our ally is gonna get really pissed that we're just kind of walking through his territory. Oh my God, the orcs just ran right up to us even closer, despite the fact that their army is even weaker. They do have the deadly snotling pump wagons, which, as you can see, is truly just the epitome of greenskin technology. But outside of that, our archers are pretty much just gonna kill everything, and our Eternal Guard are just gonna kill everything again. Man, Orion is pretty much the definition of I'm not stuck in here with you, you're stuck in here with me. We also just got the Wild Hunt beginning, which gives us a ton of bonuses to a lot of our different units and our faction leader. So Orion now moves 50% faster and has a whole bunch of extra stats. And just like clockwork, now we can see the other another army run away, and we can just chase after it to complete our mission and then get a confederation for free. So here we could install them as a grove tender, which will just give us some diplomatic relations and then increase the forest health by a bunch. Alternatively, forced annexation. So now we just got a whole entirely new army of wood elves with a ridiculously high upkeep, first of all, but they also have war dancers, Azrai spears, way watchers, some of the best archers in the game, and a whole bunch of other stuff. We also get access to all of their buildings, which are pretty strong in their own right. The issue we do have, though, is that our upkeep is now negative 1,666. That's a little cursed. But we have just effectively doubled our entire military and gotten another wood elf city. Now, the reason that we want wood elf cities specifically, like these, is because if we take any city outside of wood elf territory, they are absolute trash. Whereas all of these wood elf cities are able to upgrade all the ways into max level and get pretty much some of the best units available. So in order to lower our upkeep, what I am going to do is actually go through and try to find every random faction that we don't care about and declare war on them. Hey, Heinrich, we're friends, right? Said no one ever. So, and now as you can see, our upkeep is going down ever so slightly every time I find a random different obscure faction to declare war on. So this random Bretonnian faction who actually likes us quite a bit, nope, we're just going to kill you. All right, so now we're at war with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 factions, which should give us about, oh, I can't do math. Delta, do the math for me. That much upkeep reduction. We're making money. Oh my God. We just declared war on a bunch of people and we just knocked off $2,000 from our upkeep. And the best part is that's only the beginning. This army that was 3,000 is now only 2,000, and this army is now 2,000 that has some of the best units in the entire Wood Elf roster. If that's not incredibly overpowered, I don't know what is. And only one turn later, our income has skyrocketed up nearly 1,000. Although annoyingly, that's another Beastman encounter, so we are gonna have to come over there and beat the crap out of them. Oh, we can just kill the Bretonnians. All right, Bretonia, time to die. And now at last we can come over to Paravan and hopefully just destroy the Bretonnians once and for all. I think we could take out this entire army if we just wait. All right, and it looks like Bretonia wants to actually attack out of their city, which, spoiler alert, we're not gonna let them. All right, so starting the battle, we're just gonna then throw all of our war dancers right here, here, and here, and I think our cavalry are just gonna go circle beat all of these dudes. All right, we have about a minute before the reinforcements get here, which means it's just gonna be a minute of me watching these two Bretonnian oafs be beaten down by reindeer. Their entire army is just peasants. I mean, everything sucks, and I think it's about to suck a lot harder. As scared as I am of peasant bowmen, I'm not. 336 kills from Orion. Oh my God. This man really hates French people. I mean, I can't blame him, but still. And with that last battle against Bretonia, that also means that we can confederate with our last Wood Elf brethren, whose army is also not too awful, but because of all of our upkeep bonuses, it's not even that expensive. Now, what I am trying to do is to get all of our heroes to go discover more nations so that I can walk up to them, like this Zeech one randomly, declare war on them, and get another 4% upkeep reduction for all of our units. So Grom just decided to attack us, which is kind of bad actually. Although if I unselect control large army, we can kind of exploit this. Oh, actually, I think Bretonia just killed Grom. Thank you, lady with boomerang on her head. And of course, before Grom the Paunch died, he shat all over our settlement. Truly one of the greenskins of all time. Although even weirder is that by destroying the giant dung heap from the greenskins, we make money. Oh, that's not good. Maybe declaring war on a whole bunch of factions has had some slightly unintended side effects. Jesus, I'm looking at our upkeep bonuses, and an ancient tree man costs 104 upkeep. In other words, that's nothing. So we're just gonna go ahead and get one of these tree men and start filling his army with complete trash that have massively reduced upkeep. I like how it's turn 18 and we're already at war with like 10 different factions. I'm honestly surprised that we have 2 allies. I mean, that's a lot for me, honestly. So because we are not at war with or have occupied all the settlements around the Oak of Ages, what we can see is that the health of the Oak of Ages is going up for each settlement we have. If we're able to get the Oak of Ages to its max level of forest forest health, then we can perform a ritual and win the game. What helps a great deal is that all the other forests actually give more forest health to Athel Lorn. So if we control the Witchwood, it gives +4, the Green Veil gives +4, or the Sacred Pools also give +4. And because we're able to wild walk to any of the forests around the world, we want to gain control of as many of them as possible in order to heal them. And contrary to any kind of popular belief, the Wood Elves are not about peace. They just like their trees. So if they have to kill a couple hundred people as fertilizer, that's a-okay. Did I say 100? I meant 1,000. Or 10,000. I just realized Orion's army is 0 upkeep. Every single unit in the army is completely free. If we could double the amount of factions we're at war with, we will have no upkeep on all of our armies.
You will know my insensate rage.
Okay. Counter argument. We're also going to go ahead and research this, which gives us sight over all the magical forest regions and also means that we have more people to declare war on. All right, I've declared war on pretty much every faction I think I can declare war on. I mean, you can see the ones right here, but I'm not declaring war on them specifically because I don't want to become enemies with all their affiliated factions. That means we are rocking some serious wars right now, and the upkeep for our most powerful units, let's go see what it is. It is a whopping $8. How am I going to afford that? It also means that I'm going to go ahead and recruit armies in pretty much every single province and just start hammering out as much garbage as I can because it's all free. The upkeep bar has just disappeared entirely over the units. The game is recognizing we are approaching frightening levels of breaking. Now, the only thing we do have to worry about is every time we recruit a lord, our upkeep costs do go up by about 4%. But because 4% is just the equivalent of one war, every time we recruit a lord, we just start another war. And now we can start going ahead and actually conquering some land, ripping and tearing and doing all of that fun stuff for our fun little gods. As much as I didn't think it could get any better, now we've gotten the last Confederation missions for pretty much all the other factions. So we can even get Durthu over here to join us. So what I can do for a little bit of trolling is go into the deep roots and find a settlement that is not ours but could be, teleport all the ways down here, and niftily appear right next to him for a free city that we can just immediately take. And this is a Wood Elf city, so it's actually useful. You know what I find really enjoyable about all this? There's just Skaven plagues everywhere, and ironically the settlements they primarily are affecting are the Skaven settlements. I don't know how badly they screwed up to cause that, but I think it's pretty lore-friendly either way. What I will do real quick is go grab all of Orion's... Wait, why am I fighting Wood Elf? You know, this goes to show just how much of the lore I read. Surprise, surprise, this is not a very hard battle, given we outnumber them, I think have better units than them, and, you know, everything's free. Not to mention we have Orion, who is just walking through their whole army right here. Oh, Glade Lord, I feel so bad for you. Well, that actually is kind of bad. All of their units spawn Chaos Spawn when they die. The one thing we do have is that I think most of our units are anti-large spearmen, like these War Dancers, with an ever so slightly 23 bonus versus large. So despite the enthusiasm of these Chaos Spawn, yeah, I don't think they're gonna last very long. Although they are really giving Orion the business. I mean, this is like the dark side of Pornhub right here. All right, finally, I think we're about to win. The last Chaos Spawn are just having a seizure in this forest over there, and an ultimately lethal one, apparently. Well, I could auto-resolve this battle against Manfred all the ways in the south and lose something like 20,000 gold worth of War Dancers, but given his army is almost completely zombies, I don't think I will. Oh wow, I just realized there are some humans in this fight, the Sylvanian crossbowmen, who... yeah, I don't think they're gonna have such a good time against Big Boy here. I also didn't realize until now that this battle was 1,900 versus 5,280. So with Manfred Gooberstein gone, that means now we can actually start to take over some part of the south here to restore this forest over here. Trying to auto-resolve this fight against one random vampire and his 12 fell bats will kill 3 of my highest level units. Oh, Total War auto-resolve, never change. Or more preferably, do. And at the same time, we can also go ahead and teleport our other armies all over the map, so these guys can go over to the jungles in order to take out one of the Cathay armies. And lastly, we can throw these guys all the ways over here to go claim this forest in the middle of nowhere. Now, this might have been a slight oversight. I don't know if we could kill Scrag here, because our army is entirely Deepwood Scouts, and his is entirely Ogres. But I will give it a go nonetheless. Okay, this is working weirdly well so far. I mean, I'm not sure we're gonna win, but we have killed so many units. Okay, I say as our entire barricade just gets collapsed. We are actually about to kill Scrag on the other side, which is their leader. Okay, yeah, and there's their leader dead. So now if we can take out a lot of their other stuff, we should be maybe able to even win. Oh, you know, something tells me maybe we won't win because I didn't realize there was an entire other army. Come on, tree man. It's so close. Oh no. The fact that we almost won that is incredible. Now, Scrag, I know you and I have been really good friends since last turn, but have I introduced you to my other friend? Because we could just teleport him all the ways right over here and literally walk on top of him. And back over to Orion, we can just go ahead and beat down the Haunted Forest for pretty much free and get another city, which gives us another 2 armies that, oh, they have upkeep? Well, let's just change that real quick. We've also unlocked the ability to recruit treekin, which are just big trees that are still extremely free. Now, I don't want to speak too soon, but this is getting a little silly. We have 6 armies and 0 upkeep, and it's only going to begin to increase from there. Right, this looks like a pretty fair peace treaty to me. You guys can buzz off and give me $5,000 for doing absolutely nothing. The best part is that because the wild hunt is still going on, I could just keep teleporting all of my armies into these completely ludicrous locations. And despite the fact that this army took that settlement this turn, I could still teleport them back to wherever I want, which is right back to where they were before. So unfortunately now the wild hunt is over for the next 5 turns, which means we can't abuse the deep roots extremely horribly, at least for right now. But in another 5 turns, we get to just jump all over the place with our monorail. We're also already at 115 forest health for Athelloren, which is pretty good. Again, our goal is to get to 500 because then we can heal it and win the game. Something I haven't really talked about though is that our main forest in Athelloren isn't the only one that we can awaken. Awakening these outer forests also helps us to contribute towards forest health and eventually to awaken Athelloren. Man, right now we are making almost $20,000, and honestly, I feel like we could be making so much more if we had all the forests. Alright, sorry, random dwarf faction, but to confederate with Durthu, we do need to kill dwarves. And, you know, I'm not really all that sad about it. Well, this isn't ideal, but I think we can win this. We really need to keep all the forests we can get. Okay, and we're back on this familiar map, although this time we do have significantly better units than before. And given we are fighting Nurgle, yeah, it's only fair that we're gonna be shooting our arrows at these lovely gentlemen, and just one volley of arrows, oh my god, that does a stupid amount of damage. As a matter of fact, we might just kill their leader really quickly. Alright, it's a good thing that our melee units are not totally awful, and we might be able to actually take down their giant and their lord on this side, but everywhere else is it's a little questionable. I looked away for just a second, and all of our archers have already taken down pretty much their leader, most of the beasts of Nurgle, and there is the corpse of one big old giant. In true Nurgle fashion, it seems like one of their beasts of Nurgle has gotten stuck on a tree. Don't worry, Papa loves all, no matter how stupid. I'm honestly surprised at how long our war dancers are holding. I mean, they're fighting... Oh, well, I guess they're actually killing them. This faction functions a lot like the Skaven. We kind of just throw all of our infantry into a massive meat grinder, and if they survive, they survive. If not, sucks to suck. The main thing you're probably noticing is that despite the fact we have no upkeep on any of our armies, how is it that we're not totally winning fights? Well, the reason is that our units are absolute crap. But as soon as we get higher in the tech tree, then we can start filling our armies with just 20 tree men that are totally free. And if we get even higher in one of our other trees, we could also just make entire armies of forest dragons that are also completely free. But until then, we have to use whatever armies we can to try and take out whichever groups of enemies we can to try and get even more money and eventually level up all of our buildings. So apparently now we can confederate with, I think, second to last Sisters of Twilight group that are all the ways across. Oh my god. The sisters have been busy. They have conquered just about every single nearby city. And what does their army consist of? It's actually total garbage. I also didn't realize that now we have Ariel, which is supposed to be one of the really strong heroes of the Wood Elves. This is a little awkward, Ariel. Could you like back up from the camera like 5 inches or something? An issue we are running into is that the more factions get confederated and get conquered and destroyed, it does make it harder for us to find even more enemies to declare war on, but even so, we've managed to accrue quite the number of enemies and allies. What I love is that despite the fact that the vampire counts have so many upkeep bonuses, like these zombies cost $2 per turn as upkeep. Meanwhile, for us, our Way Watchers are even cheaper. I'm looking over towards Orion's armies, and I just see almost entirely zombies, almost entirely zombies, almost entirely zombies, and pretty much entirely zombies. All right, and we are also about to take out the dwarves for the 3rd time, which should mean bada bing, bada boom. Now we confederate with Durthu, which also just so happens to add most of the provinces over here by Athel Lauren and should give us Durthu's army, wherever that is. Okay, Durthu, we're just gonna give you the best army I can possibly give at this point. So one of the things that's really nice about Treekin is that they are extraordinarily hard to kill. They have really high melee defense for being large units, they have physical resist, and they have missile resistance. Not to mention amazing leadership, immunity to psychology, and all around just pretty frightening creatures. Our entire battle plan is just ball. The Wood Elves are normally a super kitey faction that requires lots of skill and attention and micro, and as someone who's played StarCraft 2 for like 5 years, I have none of that. But what I do have is the sheer masses of free units that I am simply balling up, and somehow I think we're not losing. I think Orion is gonna have to fight 4 whole armies this turn. It's just these armies are so utterly trash. This battle is going to be awful. It's just zombies. It's just 4 armies of zombies with 8 upkeep. This is beautiful. This is actually art. You know, I actually don't know if we can beat that. We did actually catch out that random Skaven army, which cleared us the one time. And I mean, I am just gonna auto-resolve out of laziness. That was a death animation. Apparently, we can auto-resolve this fight in our favor. I don't think we can win this normally, though. The best feeling in the game is when the auto-resolve is broken, but it's broken in your favor. Now, the Wild Hunt is back. So starting next turn, we're gonna be able to deep-root all of our lords all over the place in order to conquer everything back. And just in time for the Wild Hunt is also my favorite thing, which is that we're going to give Durthu an entire army of Treekin. So now his whole army is just going to be an absolute tank. All right, I really don't want to fight my boy Katep, so I'm going to bribe him with $13,000 and hopefully he'll go away.
Yes.
All right, now that the Wild Hunt is happening, it's time we get really silly with our armies. Since we can just start fast traveling all over the place, now is the time where we can actually go and secure most of our forests again. So right now, we're just pretty much clearing up a lot of this stuff around the Haunted Forests and most of the other forests we have, like this one over here. Although the only forests we don't own are the Gain Vale and Draika's forest. Now, Draika is a pretty interesting lord, but I think what's a lot more interesting is airdropping Durthu directly on top of her. Well, Draika, I know we're technically allies and all, but by technically I mean we're at war, actually. Now, I know this might be a little hard to understand, but, you know, it's a pretty complicated thing we're gonna be doing. Let's give it a go. Oh yeah, we've run into our first enemy to the freight train, which is a bunch of archers that they put on the front line. Good work, guys. It's gonna work out for you, don't worry. Some of their units even have AP arrows, but I seriously don't think it's gonna matter in the pit. Not to mention that Durthu has amazing AoE, so we're not even touching these guys, and look at how fast their health is going down. It brings me so much joy to see them try and fight us, and it's not gonna work out. They have their own treekin though, but I think we have slightly more. Ah, good, our reinforcements are arriving. I was afraid we wouldn't have enough treekin. All right, so far they've lost 400, and it's still counting units, and we've lost 14. Man, Durthu might not have the experienced fighting style of a normal combatant, but man, this guy can bitch slap people. Excuse me, tree people, we have other tree people coming through. A little inconsiderate if you don't mind. Think you could just get out of the way? All right, great. I think we could just fast forward through the mega tree beatdown. Oh, where do you think you're going? Oh, there's Draika. She's just sitting right next to us with her army of feral bears. You know, of all the things I was expecting, that was not one of them. I haven't stopped to look at our income, but we are up to almost 35,000 gold every turn. The most threatening thing in any fantasy game is just a shitload of money. And of course, the ability to teleport Durthu literally anywhere on the map at any time. So let's just send him over here to fight the dwarves. Okay, Thorgrim, how can you handle all the wood elves? Apparently, not at all. Our global recruitment capacity has gotten so high that I can just start immediately filling armies with treemen at any part on the map. We have 15 armies! I just realized that now. Our army upkeep increase is 56%, and it simply doesn't matter. I knew things would get pretty broken, but I wasn't expecting it to be this bad. Ah, the Great Siege of Karazakarak, the capital of the dwarves, and now gone. Am I really gonna raze to the ground this very, very valuable city? Obviously. Ah, good. Another treekin army to add to the collection. This is beginning to get a little ridiculous. Well, it's been getting ridiculous for a while now.
By the ancestors, you've got some gall coming here.
I was hoping I could make peace with some of the dwarf factions. Didn't realize we're sitting at negative 162 relations. You know, the downside of having 15 armies is that every single one of my turns takes forever. If we kept in the footage all the just me rolling around trying to find things to spend my money on, it would take quite a while. That includes the fact that my skill tree of just all the different lords that I have to level up is pretty extensive. Of course, my solution is pretty simple. I've just disbanded half of my heroes. Works like a charm. Some might call me lazy, and some are correct. So I'm trying to fast forward right now to get through and try to complete our Oak of Ages thing, and apparently Athel Loren, or apparently the High Elves, burned down their own forest? I'm not really sure how they achieved that, but honestly, I'm very impressed. The problem for right now is just surviving, but with Durthu's entire army, I don't think that's really a problem. Oh, and I forgot about this army right here. I can just go ahead and global recruitment, and it's full of trees now. So by this point, we are on turn 53, and this is pretty much the cataclysm of what we're dealing with. The thing is, as scary as all of these armies may seem, I mean all the Goblin and Skaven and, well, you know, we do have Durthu here. Full 20 stack of treatment. This guy, full 20 stack of treatment. This guy, full 20 stack of treatment. Not to mention that I have 3 more full stacks of treatment just sitting in Athel Loren doing nothing. Now, I would continue with this campaign, but the problem is it's only turn 53 and I've been recording for like 15 hours. So I'm gonna leave it there. But if you're coming from my main channel and you're noticing that I'm doing live commentary for once, which I don't normally do because I am an utter buffoon, make sure to subscribe to this channel to see the different side of mental derangement. Otherwise,